The next part I would like to speak on is the mindset, the right mindset, because in charting the course of your career, you need to have a certain mindset to help you actually go the way you want to, that will end up being beneficial for you and for your family and for your organization as well. So before we go into this, the very first thing I want is, there's this quote by Henry Ford which says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And this just speaks to mindset. For some people, they feel they cannot be CEO in no matter how long they work. They are correct. For others, they feel they can be the CEO as well. They are also correct. So whatever mindset you take towards it most likely will affect your decisions and how you approach your career going forward. So the right mindset, which is what we want to quickly talk about. Ownership, that's the first point on the right mindset. So just like the quote I shared earlier, your career is in your hands. Truly, your career is in your hands. The first thing you need to realize, no matter how great an organization is, they can try to have a career path for you, right? They can. And very good organizations do that from time to time. But at the end of the day, it still depends on you to drive that plan. It still depends on you to make sure your career goes as much as possible the way you want it to. What you find out most times is people depend on their organizations to actually drive their careers for them. While that is not bad, if you have a very good organization or you work in a very good organization, the challenge is most times people will come and leave that organization. So maybe if someone genuinely was interested in your progress and for any reason that person leaves, I've seen where people feel stagnated because the person who was helping push their career no longer is in that company. And that's because they gave the ownership of their career to another person, to a company. Another mistake I think people make is when they think career path, they only think career path within their current organization. Now, that is a limiting belief because, um, except, and this is me saying, except it really follows what you want for your career end to end, then you might have to jump companies from one time or the other. For some people, they've worked in certain organizations like all their life and it worked out well. But like I said, it also depends on what you want. For others is I want to be this at this time. And if my organization is not going to help me be that at that time, then it might be better for me to look out elsewhere. So ownership, you own your career and your career is not owned by your company. Your company can help you with your career path, but ultimately you own that career. So that's the first thing. The second mindset is excellence. So for a lot of people, and I've seen this sadly, some people want to uh, use politics, a political approach to growing, like only political approach, right? Where, oh, I know the boss and the boss knows me. It will get you to a certain extent. It can move you forward like quickly. But the challenge is most times it's not sustainable. It is not sustainable because what will happen is there will come a time when you need to deliver. And if you don't deliver properly, even the person who brought you on board will start to question your relevance to them. So while we build relationships, which will be very beneficial to us growing, we should also spend a lot of time being excellent in what we do. In fact, for if you're early in your career, if you're at the early stage of your career, this is the best leverage you can use, depending on the size of your organization as well. Most times, what happens is the leaders will observe that person who is very excellent, most times, and they will try to pull that person up as quickly as possible. And I'm saying this from experience because I've worked at least full time in two organizations, and I saw this play out in my own career. When you constantly deliver, there are people who will notice, even when you don't know, and they will help you drive some of the things you want. So I cannot overemphasize the importance of excellence in whatever you're doing, whatever career path you're taking. Make sure you're good at it because without it, it will be difficult to maintain whatever growth you're trying to build. The third part, the mindset is you need to have your personal brand. Um, don't Most people get lost in an organization's brand, right? And except you sincerely want to be in that organization all your life, right? And you hope that there's no major event that will make them downsize, then you can do that. But I think it's a risk basing your personal profile on just an organization. You should have your organizational profile, you should have your personal brand, because your personal brand will, in the long term, also give you opportunities both within the organization and outside of the organization. In fact, as the world is becoming more digital and more social media savvy, most people don't know that your external profile can actually help you in negotiating your career and negotiating new roles within your organization. Most people don't know that. If your brand is a brand that promotes things, and let's say, for example, you have 100,000 followers on LinkedIn, that alone can be an avenue for your company to actually engage in a form of negotiation with you, because each time you make a post with respect to the organization, you're actually selling the organization on your platform. So as much as you're building an internal profile, always find time to build your own brand, your own profile, because it will play out with the opportunities you get within and outside. And finally, the winning mindset, the winning attitude. Just be very optimistic. Sometimes things don't go as planned, to be honest. Sometimes you want that promotion, it did not come. For a lot of people, it then makes them either zoom out of what they are currently doing, all the progress they've made so far, they will just zoom out and not keep pushing. But for others, I feel it should motivate you to even position yourself better, either within your organization or outside of it. But the thing is, at all times, have that positive mindset, that winning mindset towards your career. It's your own, it's your life. So you need to be excited about it. You need to drive it in the way you want. Before we progress, if you can just drop which of these mindsets do you feel you can relate most with, and which of them do you feel you can improve on? If we can get a couple of comments with respect to that, which of these mindsets do you feel you can, like, you work typically with this mindset, and which one, if any, do you feel you need to do better with respect to that? Maybe a couple of comments and then we'll progress. Anyone wants to drop a comment on which of the mindsets currently do you exhibit in your day-to-day, and which one do you think you need to do better? Okay, yeah, I can see two comments, personal brand. Most times, actually, that's something we miss. Personal brand, building your personal brand, it is very important. It is very important. It gives you an edge even within your organization. All right, I can see a lot of people are talking of personal brand. Great. So we're expecting more comments.